What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fast 40 Breakdown. We've got the big crew together today, and we're heading down to South Carolina to Darlington for the Darlington Goodyear 400 race. And I'm excited because we've got Brady and Taco together to break it all down. We were just taking a look at this a little bit. We have some chalk. We have some disagreements. This should be a really fun one, guys. So let's jump right into Darlington. Taco, start me off with what's unique about Darlington. You said this is a unique race. It's not a normal 1.5 mile track. Explain.
Tire wear. Big tire wear track. Not exactly a 1.5 mile track. It comes in just short of that, but it's another one of these ride the wall tracks known for the Darlington stripes. They have the Darlington stripe counter in practice. It got to like 20. You definitely got to run up against the wall here, and it's a really tough track, honestly. So a lot of track history coming into play here, in my opinion.
I'm searching my memory banks.
Mm-hmm.
Ride the wall. That's Larson.
Yep.
A little bit of Reddick, Bell.
Yep. Bell, not so much, but Reddick. Absolutely.
Reddick likes to ride the wall and then hit the wall. He's like, he does it different than Larson. Larson rides the wall, doesn't hit it.
Larson hits it sometimes. Let's be real.
But he like knows how to hit it and not even mess him up. Reddick hits the wall sometimes.
Yep, we got a lot of variants. Carnage.
Okay. All right. Anything else unique about this 1.5 mile?
Yep, almost. Two completely different turns, so you can be set up well for one turn and suck ass in the other turn. Practice times are really fucky because of the traffic. And they haven't really been that correlative to results in the past. Qualifying really important, though. The pole sitter fucking crushes here. Usually the top 5 guys like do pretty damn well. And also huge practice, huge disparity in the practice times. So as you can see, all the best cars are in Group B. Group A, much faster overall. So outside of Bowman, who sucked ass for some reason, a lot of the best times in practice were in those better Group A guys, Josh Berry, Brad Keselowski, etc. It's set by an algorithm, so most of your better guys are going to be in that Group B, but Group A was just faster across the board by a pretty good margin.
Interesting. Let's get a look at the historical averages here. My favorite chart on the research station, guys, and we'll start here. This usually tells the tale of how a track plays out. And all right, at first glance, guys, I'm seeing very flat numbers across the board outside of, let's say, the pole sitter or the top 5, which look like they kind of get a little, they've done well here. Beyond that, this is about as flat of a series of numbers as I think I've ever seen on this chart. What does that tell you?
It means qualifying is hell of important. You get in the front 2 rows there, you're looking pretty fucking good.
I mean, it's not like that much better than, the front 2 rows, but beyond that, it seems like pretty flat. So it's like maybe we're looking at maybe playing some top 5ers mixed in with a bunch of salary savers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. We'll see. Pretty flat across the board, though. You can see here, again, that 1 to 4 group, but then 30, 30, 29, 29, 33, 30, 32, 29. That's pretty flat. So not telling us a whole lot. Let's take a look at historical winning lineups as well. These are just the charts that I like to look at, get a sense for how things come together. And 3 dominators. Actually, these weren't even backbenchers. These are just studs from the back. So the highest scorers in the most recent race, all studs. Interesting. Preece and Colo and Gilliland made their way probably into what was the nuts lineup with some pretty decent score. I'm seeing high scores, though. Larson just dominated the last race, I guess. 263 laps led. Starting from 4th. Probably was the chalk. Let's go back one before that, and we can see a couple of salary savers mixed in. 3 of them with the 1, 4, and 2 starters. With Ty Reddick getting the it looks like 1 dominator for like most of the race here.
More so in the Oh, am I muted? No, I'm not. Hello.
Yeah.
More so, you'll have one dominator in the spring race. Last fall was a bit of an anomaly. The spring race is a daytime race. The fall race is a day to night race. So there's a huge track transition that goes on. So the fact that Larson dominated in the way that he did here in the fall is fairly unique. I suspect we'll see probably two dominant cars today, even though it's a shorter race. I would suspect
second dominator to rear their ugly head. Beautiful.
Probably at some point.
All right. I like it. I do see a pattern, at least for the last couple, where it looks like, again, I mean, the numbers we saw on screen on the average by start kind of playing out here with some wonderful play stiff guys being mixed in with real dominators that are starting up at the front. Let's do another one here. I'm just going back a little bit further. Again, I just like to see number patterns with these drivers. And I mean, they're kind of the same. You've got Reddick and Hamlin. I mean, similar names here. Hamlin dominated the shit out of this one. Reddick and Larson also kind of tag team for some lead laps. So sort of the names that keep coming up continue to come up here.
That's
and then,
2 straight dominators that got taken out.
Wait, what do you mean got taken out? What are we saying?
Hamlin finished 25th in that race, but was still
he ends up getting
up there, right? And that happened
out.
the race before as well.
Both at the hands of Ross Chastain, I believe.
Yep, Ross Chastain, who took out Bell yesterday.
Yeah, you gotta love Chastain.
Evil Ross is back.
Whenever you're in like an unwinnable spot in the DFS NASCAR, you just gotta hope for Chastain to come in and change it all up for you. You're like, ah, shit. This guy's leading. I faded him. Here comes Chastain. He sees Kozlowski. He sees him. He's got him. Kez is
Ross
gone.
Is in the first 2 rows of a restart. Don't even bother looking at your lineups.
Yeah, it's going down.
Majorly about to shake up.
Yes. Is Preece starting too high? An early question. I would say yes. Yes.
I would say calm down. Maybe.
Actually,
RFK looks good.
Is Preece transforming not into a scrub? We'll get to that when we talk about the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
This is going too far. Once I see Harvick's name in there, I feel like I've gone too far back. But just one more example of a couple of really high up starters mixing in. It looks like the stud starting from behind, but then of course the play stiff guys are making a lot of difference in here. So pretty standard way of constructing a NASCAR lineup, if you ask me, guys.
Couple things to consider before we get into the individuals. Unseasonably warm in Darlington today. I think probably going to be the warmest spring race in Darlington, maybe ever, if not at least like it's 30 or 82, I think is the Fahrenheit.
You know what that means?
30 degrees Celsius.
You know what's going on in South Carolina today, right?
Carnage. Ribs
have been cooking overnight. They're just coming off the grills right now.
So a hot racetrack means higher tire wear. They call it slippery, but it's really just the tires get hotter and they don't make as much grip. So slight shift towards the more experienced drivers, I would say. The second point I wanted to make is Darlington, not super correlated with any track, but Las Vegas more than anywhere. And also kind of correlated with Homestead, both which use the same tire codes. So we're using the same tires we used at Homestead and at Las Vegas, which are both already pretty correlated with Darlington. So the people you saw have fast laps at those 2 tracks probably in a good spot to have some fast laps.
I mean, those were the last 2 tracks we went to?
Those are the only intermediate tracks you've been to this season.
Yeah. So this should continue along the pathway of who has been good at this style of track to start the season. So as we go through, because listen, I don't even remember who the hell's been good. So let's make sure to talk about that as we talk about each driver, guys. And we're about to get to the driver breakdown part of the show. But before we do, I have to mention, I just got to send some shout out. Epic MLB week at DFS Army. And if you guys aren't, we just started MLB. The Domination Station is ripping. Everybody talking about all these other tools, this, that. Nothing beats the Dom Station. And proof is in the pudding here. DFS accountant, 10K winner. Congrats to him. Zapple, 2. Not the first Zapple. That's the second Zapple. 10K winner. MLB. Oh, but wait, there's more. Steel 66, 25K winner. Are you joking? And then Centurion 8 was like, guys, hold my beer. And he comes in with a 10. Everybody's winning. Guys, this is the Dom Station tearing shit up for DFS Army. Get signed up. Check it out. The Domination Station does all the work. But again, congrats to every one of these guys individually for putting it together and crushing. This is what we do at DFS Army. We make winners. And you saw on last week's show, I'm not even bringing it back because I already touted last week, the big wins the week before for all the NASCAR contests. Taco, you weren't here last week. You were at the races. Brady and I were breaking this one down. I don't remember what happened. I don't even know what happened last week. I already forgot it all.
My brother's getting married. I was
Your brother got married. No, I meant in the race. I
Oh,
congratulations to
what happened last week, Brady? Remind
Little
me.
Taco.
What happened last week?
Did I win?
Carnage.
No, we had a good week last week. The Xfinity race was bullshit, but we had a lot of winners in the cup cup race. It wasn't a great race, but Denny Hamlin dominated. We were kind of on top of that. We were on the fade. I think Christopher Bell started up front, and we faded him, and that ended up being
the DS was all over like the top guys for the cup race. Like
it was
Elliott,
a good. We had a good week.
But Martinsville set like a record for like the highest percent of the race under caution. It was some stupid. Yeah, it was a race that would never end.
I love it. Well, we got another one similar. I remember Suarez at one point moving his way up, and I was excited about him, and then he kind of fell off. Like there was some action that was happening. So let's get into this week's track. And guys who are watching, one of the fun things, I did a little sneak peek, a little cheating before the breakdown here. And Brady and Taco have kind of different takes for this track. So I'm really excited to kind of have you guys in the room together to duke it out a little bit on some of these players. I'm going to mostly just keep quiet and intro them and let you guys kind of duel back and forth when necessary, but also when not necessary, we move along quickly, guys. So let's get started breaking down the top plays for Darlington Goodyear 400 Spring Race 2025. Motherfuckers. All right, you ready? Let's get started at the top. Kyle Larson, right? Prohibitive favorite to win, 5-1 odds, 55% owned. That is insane ownership. He likes to ride the wall. So, I mean, this is really just a DFS discussion, guys. I mean, how much Larson is too much? Give me your take, Go, and then you, Brady.
So he opened at what? 5-1. It's still at 5-1 despite qualifying 19th. Just scroll over to the right. Just look at the average lead laps, fast laps, everything at both intermediate tracks and just this the projection. Just go over the averages. Scroll over a little bit. Yeah. And you'll see he absolutely gaps the field. It's not even close. Everything. Just should be. It's just this type of track, you know. I mean, this is pretty fucking standard for Kyle Larson here. We have a few more laps than we'd usually have at an intermediate track. Usually that's 267. We're at 293 here, so we're almost at 300 mark, and no one's really that far past 10,000. So you're kind of getting these guys at a bit of a discount across the board. There are only 3 guys above 10K this week, and they all really deserve to be above 10K. And you're going to have a really popular 9-9 William Byron off the pole. We'll get to him later, but this week it's pretty affordable across the board. We're not really going to be penny pinching like we did in Martinsville.
I'll say this about Larson, and I'll keep it simple. If he does not lead laps, you're probably, where he start. Based on his price, he's probably going to need to lead some laps or win in order to be in the nuts lineup. So, at 55% owned, understand what you're getting into. You guys mentioned riding the wall. Larson is the best wall rider. Brady, what's your take on this from a DFS point of view at 55% owned?
Yeah, I think what you said earlier pretty much summed it up. This doesn't really have anything to do with handicapping a race or anything. This is just DFS game theory when it comes to Larson. You mentioned earlier that we need to keep in consideration Las Vegas and Homestead results. Larson at Las Vegas had most fast laps, most laps led, finished top 10. And then at Homestead, third most fast laps, third most laps led, and won the race. So Larson was the best at both of the correlated tracks, is the best Darlington driver in the next-gen era, and has place differential potential. So it's really just like to your point, it's just a game theory type of thing. As far as riding the wall, not as, at least in the next-gen era, not as necessary as it is long run on Homestead. Like, you need to be on the wall at Homestead. Darlington, you can go middle lane. The most speed, especially in 3 and 4, is made up against the wall, but you can run a lower lane in 1 and 2, and even in 3 and 4 earlier in runs. So probably not as grueling as a wall riding type of race as Homestead, but the tire wear is also much higher at Darlington. I don't think any track compares to Darlington in terms of tire wear. There's a great story that Larry Mack tells that they would used to yell at pit crew guys when they would roll tires down pit road and not use the carts, because that's how tire wear matters at Darlington.
I mean, we saw it yesterday when you look at like how Harrison Burton and guys like Brandon Poole took fresh tires and just ran all the way up to the very front in like 10 laps. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So
do they matters. Remember a couple of weeks ago, they had those crazy tires, those like extra speed tires for the race, and made that one race really fun. Nothing like that going on here to get a like a
Phoenix, yeah,
a set of stickies or something, a set of softies, or I don't know what I'm saying.
No, that's short track.
We haven't gone full F1 yet.
Yeah, we need to get there. I thought that race was awesome with the 2 sets of super fast tires, and they could use it whenever they want.
Yeah, now the sets are going to be brand new tires or anything that's not new tires, and just see them falling backwards.
Yeah, and it's a good point. If you have anything longer than 3-lap run, you're coming to pit road. There'll probably be upwards of 8, 9, 10 pit stops. I think they have 11 sets of tires. They'll probably use most of them. So pit road, pit crew definitely matters today. Lots of opportunities to make mistakes.
Interesting. I like it.
I think the caution prop was 8.5 for this one.
Yeah, and
betting that over. Let's take
11 sets of tires or 10 sets to put on. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they use most of those.
Guys, the second best driver in this style of track, or the most expensive, second, right up there. He's not the second highest favorite, but right up there is Tyler Reddick. We love him in this track type. Again, that's a name that when we looked at historical, showed up a lot in sort of winning lineups and has led laps here. Reddick, slightly less owned, I would say here, significantly less owned than Larson. Is he kind of a nice secondary dominator in your maybe in a Larson fade lineup? What do you think of Reddick here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Reddick definitely always does play like second fiddle to Larson here. Not necessarily as talented as Larson, but overall in the intermediate package, especially over last year, he was among the very best. Just won at Homestead to end last year. That's a very correlated track. We've seen him be not pretty underwhelming at Homestead in Las Vegas so far this season. That's why his ownership is going to be significantly lower than Larson's, and he's also not starting like right up at the very front like how you'd like. And he's not starting back like Larson back where you get some place differential. So he's kind of in the middle zone. He still averages, I think, the second most lead laps here in the next gen car. He's still a really good play, but he's not going to be crazy in the ownership.
Yeah, it seems like a nice way to get leverage over Larson for kind of like the second best guy in this track type, lately second highest price guy. Brady, do you like Reddick here at all? Lower owned 23%. He's starting 7th.
Yeah, I don't know. I get the inclination to want to play him, but for me, Reddick has just been aggressively mid at a stretch of tracks to start the season that should have been really, really good for him. Homestead, he was kind of silent. Las Vegas, he wasn't a factor whatsoever. Phoenix, he wasn't a factor. Even Coda, he finished 3rd, but he didn't dominate that race. And if you look at Bubba Wallace's performance, which has been spectacular over the course of the start of the season, you can't blame the cars, I don't think. So I don't know if Tyler Reddick's just in a funk now or just not having a great stretch, and this is the type of race where he can turn it around for sure. But I think if this was 2024 Reddick, this would be an easier play to swallow. But right now, he's just something's not clicking for him.
Mm-hmm. Guys, when we did the historicals, there was a clear benefit in terms of scoring to the top 4 drivers. So we're gonna need a couple of those going right now here. You got Denny Hamlin starting 3rd, And Willie B starting on the pole. Byron, chalky, super chalky at 43% owned. And Denny Hamlin, again, virtually under 20% is like nothing for Hamlin, who I believe won. He dominated the shit out of this track not that long ago, if I recall what I saw in the historical. So take me through these two guys. Brady, I'll start with you here. Take me through your thoughts on these two. Willie B on the pole, Denny Hamlin, both probably really good plays, but Byron getting all that ownership.
Yeah, I think Hamlin's a great leverage play here. As far as the historical stats go, and you mentioned this, Denny Hamlin's right there with Reddick and Larson. It's not a huge step down in performance to get to Hamlin. He'll be significantly lower owned than both. And like we said earlier, with weather being warm, tire wear being a huge factor, efficient pit stops being crucial, those are all things that play into Denny Hamlin's hand. So if you look at these top guys, you're going to have to play Larson at 60-70% to get leverage. You'll need to play Byron at 55. Even Reddick, you need to play 35-40%. Whereas Hamlin, you play him at 25-30% at less salary than those guys. From a DFS perspective, it makes sense. The thing that does concern me about Hamlin in particular is just the practice times. As you know, Geek, we don't really care about practice times when it comes to Hamlin. But he wasn't. What does worry me is he was slow on the long run, which is very un-Hamlin-like. So that's my only concern there. But in theory, a pretty good play, I think, when it comes to Hamlin.
Hamlin pretty good at managing those tires.
Fantastic. One of the best, if not the best in the field.
Yeah, and based on, I'm just taking in the information, and based on all this tire discussion, I would think Hamlin, and I got another vet coming up later that I think would be good at that. Taco, your take on these two pretty much the same here. Willie B on the pole, heavy ownership here.
Yeah, Byron, the pole sitters here have been fucking amazing. And then he jumped up significantly in Vegas to second favorite right behind Larson. The case for Byron is pretty apparent because he's got Preece starting next to him. I don't think a lot of people believe in him, so he's going to be pretty popular. Hamlin, we've seen the ownership trend for him be he only really gets ownership at short tracks where he's one of the favorites. You can even see from Vegas here, despite starting third, he's still outside of the top 4. I think he's the 5th favorite to win this race, even though he's in a really good spot and he's really expensive. But with it being hotter and tire management being a big thing, that's obviously a huge plus for Hamlin. So I do like him as a leverage play here. I want to be overweight on him because anytime you mention tire management, it makes me really like Denny Hamlin. He's among the best in the field for that. But Byron is just going to be I think a smash play for a lot of people. His ownership could vary because he's actually not very good at this track. He doesn't have the historical numbers, but pole sitters here have been just awesome, and he looked really good in practice.
I like it. We're about to get to Ryan Blaney, who Brady, you had a hot take on Blaney. Brady had a hot take on Blaney.
A base take.
Yeah, a real hot take. So Brady, talk to me about Ryan Blaney. He's 7.5 win odds. He's right there with the rest of them. He's starting 9th and inconspicuous, unowned at 13%. Ryan Blaney having a tough season, crashing out all the time. Talk to me.
Yeah, let me start by saying Ryan Blaney stinks at Darlington. Stinks. Terrible. And he, I think, has finished damn near last at both 1.5 mile tracks. Now, those were both a result of incident. I forget what happened at Vegas, and then he blew up at Homestead. But he's been the fastest car every week, without exception. He's also blown up twice, so that engine is probably tuned a little too high. Probably need to dial that back a little bit. So we might not see him quite as fast as he has been in the last couple of weeks. But if you look at practice times, and again, you can only put so much into these practice times, but Blaney was in the worst position. He went out late in Group B, which is when the track is at its slowest. And he was still significantly faster than anybody else in the field. Now, practice speed and race speed is two different things at Darlington. So many different lines, so much traffic to get through, obviously tire wear, everything we've talked about. But with all that said, you're getting the fastest car, undeniably the fastest car has been all season, starting 9th for under 20%. It just all makes sense to me, especially if we're talking about different ways to get off Larson, if we're looking for different ways to get off Byron. Man, Blaney makes a lot of sense, especially if that speed that he showed in practice and the speed that he's had over the course of the last couple of weeks is real. And I think it is. The only question for me is whether that engine can hold on for 293 laps.
Part of the reason he's fast is because, they got the engine tuned all crazy. See how that goes. But he did crash out the last couple times, and it is driving that ownership down. Taco, your take on Blaney, a little less enthused.
I mean, it's not even because of the DNFs and whatnot. That kind of happens. It happened at both of his Darlington races last year. And my concern for him is just the track history. I mean, when's the last time he's come top 5 at Darlington? I think track history matters here a lot. Oh, he's never ever come top 5 at Darlington ever in 16 races.
I mean,
only 3 top 10s. It's
it's not great.
Pretty bad.
Okay.
Best ever finish here is 8th.
All right, guys who are watching, reminder, I have turned off monetization on this video.
What? So turn it on.
I'm trying
to get paid.
No.
God damn.
These are my people. We love the people. I turned it off because I don't want you guys to be interrupted by commercials. But all I ask in return is make sure you're hitting that like button. You're subscribed to the channel. If you're on we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on whatever social platform you're watching this on, maybe hit a share, a like, something like that. Let us know you're out there. Let us know you appreciate it. Get subscribed to the channel, and we'll keep these videos without the commercials. YouTube doesn't like that, Brady. YouTube wants the commercials on. They will not distribute, but I don't like it. They annoy me, so I try to turn them off when I can.
Too humble.
I would like to turn them off when I can. All right, Christopher Bell coming up next. Odds makers not in love with him. 17-1 odds. Had some great history here or recently in intermediate. He was the man early this season. A couple of speed bumps last couple of weeks for Bell. Any reason to get on him here at 16% ownership, starting 17th?
Well, you can see the jump in odds here. You can tell who the 5 favorite are by far.
It's very clear. Look at the difference. Once we got past this first group with Blaney, you're in some serious drops in odds. So very obvious, very clear.
Yeah, it's strange to me. I was surprised to see, Bell opened at plus 1,200, and now, at FanDuel right now, he's plus 2,400. And I don't know why. Darlington's not a great track for Bell. I don't think he's ever won here in the Cup Series. He's been really, really good here in the Xfinity Series. And in theory, all the things we've talked about, tire wear, brake management, long run speed, ability on pit road, those are all advantage Christopher Bell. So I don't know why Vegas is so down on Christopher Bell this week, but we also had this discussion about William Byron last week, and Vegas was right, and William Byron shit the bed. And then if you look at the practice times that Christopher Bell put down, seems to have a lot of work to do. And 17th is a very unusual qualifying spot for Christopher Bell. So I would say they have some car troubles they need to sort out. You don't often see Christopher Bell qualifying 17th, so that's probably a car issue.
The price point's a little spendy for me, Brady, considering he's probably not in the dominator conversation. Not to say he can't be a dominator, but he's probably not in the dominator conversation. And at that price, if you're not going to give me many, many laps led, even starting from 17th, I don't know that I can stomach it. I don't know that can lead to a tournament takedown. He would need to lead laps. Again, could he? I think so. Taco, your take on Bell, any different?
I mean, he averages 4 lead laps here.
It's not been
7 fast laps.
Not been great.
Not the best track for him overall. He did have that 3rd last year in the playoff race. Other than that, it's been really kind of meh. He's priced down here for a reason, it seems. Then the practice times, they're a little bit alarming. Him and Logano here, looking really bad.
Geek, I know you've been through this before, but do you ever like, whether it's a fight or like somebody's strikeout line or whatever, you look at it and go, that's just wrong. Like, I got to bet this because this is a wrong number.
Yeah.
And then they get smoked. Like, sometimes Vegas just has pretty good insight on some stuff.
If there was ever a thing that's telling in sports betting, it's exactly what you just described, right? Like, whoa, this looks weird. What are they, nuts? I remember the bad Patriots were going on the road to the Bills and they were +3 and the Bills were just -3. And I'm like, what are they, nuts?
Yeah.
This is the bet of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And of course,
it always works like that.
Yeah.
And it happens in fights all the time. It's like, why? Like, why is this guy such a big underdog? And then it just gets run over. So sometimes you got to just ignore your instinct and go, listen, there's probably a reason that this guy is getting such little attention this week.
I think we know what we got to do with Christopher Bell.
I'd unfriend you.
Right. Moving on. Joey Logano, same as Bell. Starting 18th, same ownership, same deal. Everything's the same. Even worse win odds.
I'd unfriend you.
Maybe not. I don't know. What do you say, guys? Joey Logano, Taco.
Maybe on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's so allergic to fast laps, it really hurts him.
I'd unfriend you.
Right. Yeah. Get him out of there. Brady, you got a different take?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah. I mean, if anybody in this field would sell their soul to have the old generation car back at Darlington, it's probably Joey Logano, but he hasn't translated that success in the next gen. And to Taco's point, if Penske cars are capable of getting fast laps, it's usually Blaney getting them. So
Donnie Briscoe starting 4th. JGR.
Very interesting.
What is this even real? Is this a
Juan here in Stuart Haas equipment?
Is this good?
I don't know. Listen, we haven't seen. I mean, we kind of saw it last week and a little bit at a Homestead, but we haven't seen Chase Briscoe in a JGR car at its full ability. I think he's still in the growing pain. James Small, his new crew chief, historically not the easiest guy to work with. The transition from Ford to Toyota isn't as simple as getting your seat put in. There's some intricacies to that. But we've started to see the turn. He ran really well at Homestead. He ran really well at Darlington. And now he's at maybe his best track. I don't know. You could probably make that argument. One here in the Cup Series, one here in the Xfinity Series, in equipment that's significantly worse in the gear that he's going to have today. And he's the highest starting, or on the same as Denny Hamlin, same row as Denny Hamlin. So if we're getting all worked up about Denny Hamlin, I can see a pretty good reason to get worked up about Chase Briscoe too.
I mean, super low ownership. So you want to leverage. There's a nice little leverage spot. Yeah. And
Nathan makes a good point in the chat. The 19 car does have amazing track history here. And a lot of that has to do with Martin Truex Jr., but a lot of that has to do with James Small too. Like, they clearly have a setup that works here. There's been discussion about Martin Truex Jr.'s setups not working for Chase Briscoe. Martin Truex Jr. just famously likes his car significantly looser than anybody else or a lot of the other drivers in the field. So I don't know how well that'll translate, but you can definitely get excited about this play.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. 21 to 1 win odds. Not that bad, I guess, but
I don't know. If Chase Briscoe gets the lead, how do you get it away from him?
Yeah, he's pretty good holding it.
He's so good at holding the lead. I mean, you look at what he did in a Stuart Haas car. Like, Larson led like 263 laps of that race, and then Chase Briscoe got in front and won the race. Like,
he has a win here. No fade. No fade.
At 9,100, he's one of many very cheap dominator options on this slate. So just an overall really cheap slate. Like, it's pretty easy to get to Larson as like your second guy with someone cheap like Briscoe, or some people will get to later.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue for Chase Briscoe is he's kind of got the Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman problem, which is if your car is good enough to win, then you also have to be good enough to beat your teammates, Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell, the same way. Chase Elliott sometimes has the fastest car, but he has to beat Kyle Larson and William Byron, who also has that car. So that's the problem he's gonna face for all year.
Briscoe can get it done. Well, not a fade. Normally, you'd say Briscoe 9,100 starting 4th. What the hell? Unfriend you, but it sounds like he's on the upswing in that JGR vehicle. So We'll have to pay attention to him. Now we got a trio of more low ownership guys here, somewhat low owned. So, and a little, actually, I'm not going to include Chastain in that. So we got Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch, a couple of grizzly veterans. Elliott starting 15th with 14% ownership, 19-1 win odds. Kyle Busch starting 8th, so a little further up, 12% unowned. These guys, right? So both of these guys are on a taco.
Yeah, we just discussed Chase Elliott and the exact reason why he'd have a problem if he has a fast car. Because his teammate is Kyle fucking Larson at this track. And William Byron's on the goddamn pole. So, yeah. Bit of an issue there. And also not like the best track for him overall. So he's a real kind of mad play. He's like cheap enough to where he's like fine, but there's nothing really special about it. Kyle Busch is interesting because he had a little bit of the long run speed in practice. And his odds jumped up quite a bit. With him being a veteran, tire management factoring in, it's kind of sort of interesting. It's just RCR has not looked very good at intermediate tracks really at all in the last few seasons. So I don't really buy it. I'm just not really huge on these two plays here.
Yeah, I agree. On Chase Elliott for sure. Just not a great track. And we were talking about this in the stream yesterday. Chase Elliott does have a win at Darlington. I mean, that his first Xfinity win at Darlington, one of the most electric finishes I can remember. And then yesterday I realized that was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So probably some things have changed. As far as Kyle Busch goes, I'm pretty excited about Kyle Busch here. He looked really good here in the fall. Again, the spring race and the fall race at Darlington are two different animals. It's almost two different tracks. But Kyle Busch really, really strong in practice. And again, another guy, you talk about all those things you need to win at Darlington. Tire management, long run pace, poise on pit road. Kyle Busch across the board. I don't know why they priced him up so high. 8,800 seems like really spendy for a guy who has not been super competitive this year outside of Coda. So it's hard to get 8,800 out of your lineup to play Kyle Busch, but maybe a guy you can attack on the betting board.
I mean,
it's interesting to see him like he's favored over Christopher Bell. He's the 6th favorite to win this race. It's really weird.
Yeah, I think it's the practice speed.
He's starting up at 8th place. This is the problem. So the issue for me with Kyle Busch here is he's starting in 8th. And again, at this price, he's still in the quote expensive side of things. And if he's not dominating, you're not winning. So this is really very much a bet on him leading and dominating a bunch of laps when you play him at he's 12% owned. You know, pretty easy to get some leverage there if you think he's going to lead laps. But if he's not leading laps and he's not winning, starting 8th at that price, you're probably not winning because going from 8th, again, remember, 8th to 3rd is really only scoring like a 46. And the winning scores in this thing were, you know, in the 70s, the 90s. You're not winning with a high-priced 45 in your lineup. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, if you look at the averages by start, like the 3rd and 4th row, the 5th through 8th position was like by far the worst chunk in the entire board.
Yeah, you did not want this group. Now, I think that's random, Taco. I think it's like guys crashing out. I just think it's variance, like weird random variance. I don't believe that to be predictive, but it is interesting.
It's just hard for them to pass like the guys in the very front, so they kind of just tend to go backwards. Yeah,
I'm going to avoid it. I don't like it. Outside of like, I think you can take a couple shots I think you take a couple shots there in your sort of MME, like in a script where he actually wins the race. But beyond that, and again, the odds tell us 16-1. So, you know, translate that to a percentage. It's like he's got a 5% shot. So, you know, anything over 5%, you're kind of like probably living in the danger zone. Chastain. This is I'm going to say the first really good place diff play, potentially good place diff play, maybe a little less good than some other ones, but we have a bunch of them coming up in our next little group of drivers. So Chastain starting 25th, right? 31-1 odds. So, you know, reflective of starting position, 23% owned. Taco, is he too expensive to starting 25th as a place diff guy?
So this is kind of a cheap slate. I think you can play Chastain. I really do think you can afford him. It's just there are about to be a bunch of plays that are just kind of better than him for cheaper and have way better odds than him. His odds are pretty dog shit, and so were his practice times. And I mean, he had a pretty okay finish at Las Vegas, but at Homestead he did not look very good. It's like it looks like a good spot on paper here, but just kind of all right for a place differential play.
It would be a lot better if like 3 of the names coming up in 2 seconds weren't there for cheaper.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Brady, any reason to focus in on Chastain here with other place diff guys maybe popping even a little bit more?
Yeah, the only reason is this is pretty much the exact same play as last fall. He started 22nd, finished 5th, 6 fast laps, and 3 laps led. He does that again here. He's in the optimal.
He's in the discussion for sure.
For sure. He's priced up versus what he was last year, and he looked a lot better in practice last year than he did this time around. Still, I like Ross Chastain at Darlington. Just because if he gets by you, you're looking at his bumper for the rest of the race because you're not going to pass Ross Chastain at Darlington. Near impossible unless he's got just a terrible car. But to your point, there's a lot of really great plays coming up that kind of easily supersede him. So it's just going to be hard to get leverage, I think.
He's a tougher trigger pull at 23% owned than some of these other names. You're going to see them. They're all coming right up. But before we get to those guys, we've got one more sort of I'm going to call it a lower cost potential dominator here with Bubba Wallace starting 5th, coming off of a good run at Homestead, 20% owned. He was popular last week too for Homestead. Brady, any excitement here for Bubba? Can he lead laps at this track?
Yeah, he certainly can. And I think you look at Bubba Wallace or Josh Berry in the running for most improved driver this year, both have made significant steps forward in their performance. Bubba Wallace has been a factor just about every race, including Coda, which is
he always seems to kind of mess up at the end. Although he put it all together last week.
Yeah, that's always been the story of Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace always runs well. His average running position is far greater than his average finish position, but he seems to start to put it together. The issue here is, and I think JJT in the comments, your lineup has to tell a story. That's a great point. And what is the story that you need to tell yourself to get Bubba Wallace in the optimal lineup? Like he gets a good restarts, gets to 3rd, gets the lead on pit road because his pit crew has been amazing, leads laps in like the 2nd stage. Like you can tell yourself a story, but it's probably not the most optimal script that this race plays out. So if he's going to be played at like 20%, I don't think you can go much higher than that. But he's not an unfriend by any means. He's a guy that can compete for a win here. You look at his track history, all top 10s in the next gen. So it's a good track for him.
I like it. I think you got to play a little Bubba. 20%. I don't know that that's a number that I feel I'm going to leverage above, but I don't want to full fade him. I'm not going to unfriend you to Bubba here because he's just been good this year. And so why not? I feel like it'd be weird and alt for him to do well. I actually I hate to say it. I'm going to be under the 20, but I still like him a little bit. I don't know what else to say. I think there's that mild chance that, it's just a Bubba day. Do I like it though? Probably not. Taco, any different take, or we'll move on to what is maybe the best play stiff guy? We'll see.
Yeah. So Bubba, like it would be kind of alt if he led, but it's getting less and less alt as the season goes on. He's just had a really good season. He has the best pit crew right now, which was a lot of his problem from before. And we're seeing him do really well at tracks that he hasn't even done well at. And this is a track he has done well at. So I think he can hang up there with the big boys. I think I kind of almost like him better than his teammate Reddick in this spot here. He would have to end up front. He is getting a much deserved price increase. We'd usually see him in the 7 to like even 8K range. So 8.5, he has to do a little bit more. But starting 5th, I think he's just someone that, can stay up in the top 5 and potentially lead as we're, the last year or two, we'd look at him. He's like, hey, he's a guy that can hang, but he's not a guy that can lead. He is a guy that can lead now. proved that at Homestead. So he's pretty interesting. I think his ownership could vary depending on how much people depend on the place diff guys that he's sandwiched by in this range. So if he ends up on the lower side of ownership, not a bad play. But I think people are getting akin to Bubba.
Yeah.
And then we go on to the fucking chalk here.
One note on Bubba, I will say really quick, is I think a big part of his improvement this year is they had a crew chief change. Booty Barker was his very old school Saturday night racer kind of crew chief. They've transitioned to Charles Denke, very new school, former Army engineer, very analytics driven. I think that's helped Bubba a lot. And that's the kind of thing that can really boost performance at Darlington as well, because setup matters so much at Darlington. So you could see a huge increase in performance for Bubba here as well.
Brady, notice in the NFL, the contrast between like these old school coaches come in, you know, Bill Parcells school, Rex Ryan, you know, yelling and screaming, you know, I'm doing it my way and this and that. And then you have like these young studs come in, bringing in the new school of thought, and those teams just crush.
Yeah.
You know,
you look at it's the Kyle Shanahan, or I guess Sean McVay, whichever one came first. That effect.
Give me the Shanahan as sort of the example, the perfect. But yeah, McVay.
The same thing has happened in NASCAR. You've kind of got these older school crew chiefs who years of experience just know every last piece of the car, versus these newer school who understand the engineering side of it, but are also very Chad Ganausian in the way that like, okay, how do we manipulate these rules? How do we, you know? So yeah, it's a great comparison. There's a whole lot of that going on in the garage right now.
I like it. Bowman has pretty much been the nuts every fucking week. This guy is juggling so many nuts. He's like the king of you know what? I'm not even going to say it because it's just going to be inappropriate. But all I'm saying is Bowman has been the man. Okay, this is the redheaded stepchild of the Hendrick team, and somehow he's just been killing it this year. Second place in Homestead, 7th in Las Vegas. The guy is starting 33rd, supreme chalk. Terrible in practice. Who cares?
In Group A of practice too.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Cares? Brady, do we care? Do we care?
The reason he's fighting back so far, but I mean, just look at his finishes in intermediate tracks. He always figures it out.
I'm not the guy to I've lost so much money fading Alex Bowman. I don't know what blinder or blockage I have in my head that just doesn't allow me to get excited about Alex Bowman, but I'm always underweight on Bowman, and it's bitten me so many times. So I'm not the one to talk about. I don't know what it is about Bowman that scares me, but I mean, on paper, this is just a dynamite smash type play. The only thing that concerns me about Bowman is track history is pretty muted at Darlington.
Who cares?
Yeah.
This guy has been killing it.
Yeah,
like he's starting 33rd. If he was like 600 less, you could probably hit the lock button on 170 lineups and be confident that either he crashes or he's in the nuts. He
doesn't crash a lot.
What's that?
He doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Very good at not crashing a lot.
Yeah, so he usually gets there. I mean, last couple weeks, like I said, Taka, where's the thing where it shows how he's running? Has he been running well or just kind of sliding his way up late?
Go to the finishes tab.
Hang on. All right.
You mean average running position? You don't look at that, but I mean, yeah. Bro's just
average
been solid.
There we go. Yeah, this one.
And he's finishing better than his average position as well. He just finds a way to make it work at the end of the race.
It's not been terrible
Very
though.
Consistently.
Yeah, Homestead. He was.
It's just the DNFs are just not there. He's very good at holding it all together.
This is Martin's. No, where are we now? Darlington. There it is. Bowman 22nd. So not great at Darlington.
No, it never has been that great at Darlington. Maybe honestly. That's like the one concern is the track history.
Yeah, if you needed a fade excuse, I guess that would be. I'm just looking for reasons, guys, because obviously this is a crazy good play.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first. It's like, okay, so Bowman's going to be super fucking chalk, right? Almost 40%. And there are many other good enough place differential plays for cheaper than him. So I was leaning towards that. But the more carnage I see in the forecast, the more I like Bowman because he is very good at avoiding carnage, playing it safe, having a pretty conservative style that helps him move up safely.
What is the carnage number on this track, Taco? Give me the over-under.
It's 8.5, but it's like minus 145 to the under and like plus 110 to the over. But
What is the
I would
standard
probably
that
bet
we
the
see?
over on that.
Yeah, I like the plus money. But what is the standard that we see for like an average intermediate track? Is it also always 8.5?
No, it's like 6.5.
Okay, so this is
Darlington always is higher than your average intermediate carnage rates because it's a much tougher track, much more tire wear, more slipping and sliding. Especially
Brady, I
this
think
week with it being so hot.
That's a crazy comment. That's attacking
Brady,
me at
I
my
feel
core.
like Nathan's in your mind, in your head.
Hey man,
He's,
listen,
he's
he's
all
right. I can't call him a liar. At one point I wanted to make on Bowman. And I don't know how you handicap, like we always talk about like handicapping humanity in situation. It's very difficult to do, but Alex Bowman needs to have a good year. Because Connor Zilic gets his seats whenever he wants it. So Bowman is very much they'll tell you he's not, but he is on the hot seat. He needs to have solid runs, and I think that's where you see Bowman doesn't tear up equipment. He doesn't drive over his head. He doesn't make many mistakes. He doesn't dominate races. He doesn't win many races. But that's why you get the track history or the recent intermediate track finishes looking like they do. He takes what the track will give him because he doesn't want to tear up equipment, and he knows his days could be numbered if he starts messing up.
This guy's just yeoman-like. I don't even know what that word means, but I feel like it applies
Yeoman Bowman
to Alex Bowman. He's yeoman-like in his approach to racing. Somebody get me a definition for that. I just feel like it fits.
Connor Zilic is on his heels, so he better have a good run today.
He's look out. Imagine though, wouldn't it be funny if it's Chase Elliott that Zilic takes out? It's like, Elliott, man, you
never. Well,
That
one
not
favorite
been
driver
running
like
well.
8 years in a row. There's no fucking chance.
Chase Elliott solely funds Kyle Larson's car. So
I feel like Chase Elliott is almost going the Jimmy Johnson way.
Never.
He's getting old.
He's going the Dale Jr. way, if anything. He might not win a race ever again, but he'll sell a bunch of merch, and Kyle Larson can win all the races.
They have the Hendricks truck outside the races, and then they just have the Chase Elliott truck.
Should I decorate my podcast room for next year with NASCAR gear? Like, wouldn't it be funny if I'm doing NFL videos with just like Chase Elliott jerseys and just NASCAR gear all in the back? I'm thinking about it.
Hell yeah.
Love that.
Fuck with people.
Good point from Jeremy there too. Haley is another one. Like all the Spire guys, hosts of R2. Like there's a lot of guys that I think are candidates to take Alex Bowman's seat if he doesn't perform well.
I feel like Alex Bowman, when he switches to a lesser good team, will still be a great play stiff guy when he's priced down because he's still gonna never crash and just make his way up, but never lead.
But that's $6K.
Legacy Motorsports, Alex Bowman.
Yeah. We've seen it before.
All right. So somebody mentioned Chris Buescher. To me, Chris Buescher is in a really weird starting place. He's starting 14th. The win odds are nothing special here. Let me scroll over. Let's get that. 36-1 win odds. So less good than Bowman, starting in a much less good starting spot than Bowman. Mm-hmm. This is a tough trigger pull, especially with Keselowski, his teammate, just looking much, much better. Is this an unfriend you spot here for Buescher? Can we just skip it?
Consider the following. RFK is fast as fuck.
Yeah. You want to talk about, like, I swear RFK is just built to perform well at Darlington. Like, that's all they focus on because they're so good here. And Keselowski is so good here. And Chris Buescher drives like somebody who's been mentored by Keselowski for the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So no fade.
No, I think Chris Buescher is race winning upside is probably too much to say. But look, man, this is one of his better tracks. And RFK is probably the best performers here in the next gen if you take Kyle Larson out of the equation. Both of those guys and Ryan Preece are really, really good. Like I said, I genuinely believe that goal one on RFK's season board is like, how do we run well at Darlington? They
love them some Darlington. Okay. Well, we got a bunch of these Darlington guys. We've got a bunch of RFK guys. Taco, your take on Chris Buescher the same? This is not somebody to be ignored at 15% ownership, starting 14th in weird place.
He could look at Keselowski or Preece's setup and be like, so what's up?
Both those guys super fast. And the problem with Chris Buescher is doesn't dominate, doesn't lead a bunch. And so you're kind of getting into that area, like, can he do enough without doing that to hit optimal here. And Geek, that's probably a better question than you. Probably needs to finish in the top 5 or 6.
Let's do the math, Brady. Top 5. We're moving up. Let's call it 4th place. If he just finishes in 4th, we're getting 10 place diff points. We're going to get about 38. So we're looking at about a 48 bagger without any extras, without any fast laps or lead laps or anything. 8,100. It's teetering on the edge. Even that. He's got a lead.
So, yeah, it's a borderline type play.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily think he will lead.
He's got to finish top 5 at worst. It's a tough spot.
Sure.
And making it tougher is the fact that the Darlington killer himself, Brad Keselowski, Special K, starting 20th, so a few spots behind, same manufacturer, RFK.
Double the ownership, at least.
Much more, but rightfully so, though, right? Rightfully so. Rightfully double the ownership. This guy owns this track. You know, you guys talked about tire management. You talked about, a little bit of pit strategy, all the things that Brad Keselowski is known for. And then you tie in the fact that this guy owned practice, and it's like, oh, okay. Brad Keselowski, 38% owned. Maybe that's a good number. Maybe 34 is right. Maybe it should be higher than that. I don't know. Seems like a good play. Taco, you love some Brad K this week? I mean, everybody probably loves him.
Yeah, winner of this spring race last year. Let it be known, these guys are about to talk about here dominated Group A of practice. For what it's worth. But they still look really good. Like Keselowski, you talk about veteran presence, tire management, race strategy, being able to pass in places that aren't, on the track. Sounds like Keselowski to me.
Has won here before. RFK, you guys were saying. See, RFK a lot of times has a shitty setup. So when you're telling me RFK is really not a team to be ignored, all of that, and Keselowski is good. I mean, a lot of arrows are pointing towards Kez being a great place diff guy. He could do a little better. Brady, think about the same finish we just talked about with Buescher. Finished 5th. Okay. With Keselowski, he's got an extra 6 points on that score. So now you're up in that 55 category. Now you're up in the good enough for the nuts price point for an 8K guy. Like there's difference between 40, 52, and that's kind of the difference between these two guys finishing the same. And I think we would all agree that Keselowski does have some outside lead lap potential.
Absolutely. And you like we said earlier with Logano, like I think Logano would sell his soul to be able to drive the last gen car at Darlington again. Keselowski just went to the next gen and was like, I'm still Brad Keselowski at Darlington. I'm still just as good. So and to Taco's point, ignore the practice times. A group practice times, they don't matter. In fact, I just put a video out on my YouTube channel about why you should ignore practice times a lot of the time. Cheap plug, day for another day. But link
not in the description, but in the Discord.
He's in the Discord. I did put it in the Discord. But anyway, Kez. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I believe I've heard him say that his Southern 500 win at Darlington meant more to him than a Daytona 500 win. Like Keselowski just reveres. He loves Darlington. So it's across the board check marks for me. Everything I look for in a good play, Keselowski has.
Speaking of good plays that has everything I look for in them, Josh Berry is like virtually the same, starting 24th, even better starting position. 21-1 odds, pretty good. Same ownership as Keselowski. So we're talking some high ownership here. We're under 8K with Josh Berry. Starting 24th, he has been spectacular. The guy won in Las Vegas. Like, that's not that different from here. It's kind of the same shit.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about? I mean, we love this guy, no?
Yeah, the only thing that scares me about Josh Berry is like he's the belle of the ball right now. And he's probably a little like, how these things go in every other sport. Like, a guy scores a touchdown 2 weeks in a row, and all of a sudden people start thinking he's going to score a touchdown every week.
Berry a little higher owned, maybe, and a little more expensive than he's been of late.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this, what would this change Josh Berry for Harrison? The only thing that has changed is Harrison Burton and Josh Berry. If this is Harrison Burton, this is a $5,000 play. So you got to ask yourself, is Josh Berry, if you ignore his last couple of weeks of performance, which could be variance, is Josh Berry really $2,800 more than Harrison Burton? And the answer could be yes, but I think it's not as yes as people are going to play him. This is all just me babbling. I think he's going to be a little over owned, though I do still think it's a very good play. I mean, he finished third here last year in Stewart-Haas racing car. So
I'm sorry, Harrison Burton ain't doing that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Harry B's no Josh Berry. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Taco, you have a different take on Berry here. Brady sounds a little more cautious.
Hey, he's
weird to
getting
me
chalky as fuck, bro. That's the
super
problem. He's super fucking chalky. He's almost 8K.
I feel
I
like
mean, I would love to. He's a good
like
play,
Eric Jones
right?
is
He's just
worse.
gonna be chalky as shit.
Isn't Eric Jones worse price?
I don't know. I think the gods of the internet are trying to lag you out from trying to call Derek Jones the worst of anything. Don't talk about my hero like that.
At 7,500, I guess he's starting at 34th and give him a little benefit.
And historically, or at least the perception around Eric Jones, is he's very good at Darlington, and that's true. But he hasn't been necessarily as good in the next gen car, say for a top 10 here, maybe 2 years ago.
Say for a win.
Yeah, dude, I was good at picking up chicks 20 years ago too, but
Was that in was
20
That
years
was in the
married.
next gen car.
it was in the next gen?
2022,
Yeah. So yeah, Eric Jones does have very good track history here.
Well, good.
But-
So.
Legacy Motorsports has not improved.
No.
They've got,
All
if
right.
anything, they've gotten worse. And that would have been in a Chev too, wouldn't it? Was that the first year of Legacy Chevrolet? So yeah,
You're going
this
back
is-
to 2022. Not a bad finish in 2023. Okay, I'll give it to you. But I still think 7,500. It's spendy, but starting 35. He should have been 6,500 starting 34th. That would have been something.
They're not putting him at 65 at the track he's won twice. No, never.
Should have.
You also skipped over Austin Cindric.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Austin Cindric here. He's nondescript to me, but Brady, you like a nondescript play as much as anybody, so he's starting 6th.
I think you can match the field. If he's going to be 10% owned, I don't mind playing 10% Austin Cindric. Very fast in practice, though. Again, A group, not super reliable. But we talked about this last week, Geek, about the 100 race theory. Austin Cindric has taken a huge step in performance this year. So you can +5 all his track history. I think he runs top 10. Probably not enough, but not a guy I'd face.
It's not getting it done. Penske any good this year? Who else?
Yeah.
Yeah, Logano.
They're really fucking good.
Blaney, they're great. So I feel like we never talk about that team, but Penske's great. He's in a good car. I mean, Brady, why is Cindric so much less good than Blaney and Logano all the time?
He's definitely closing that gap. But yeah, to your point, like Joey Logano is one of the greatest drivers of all time, and Ryan Blaney is slowly become the best driver at the current time. So you just it's the same problem that Chase Elliott has. It's the same problem that Chase Briscoe has. The what you get compared to is some of the greatest of all time. So it's just difficult.
I like it. All right, before we get to the Turd Zone, and of course Brady's favorite driver coming up 1 or 2 away, I want to harken back to something I was talking about on this podcast a couple of weeks ago, which is the new tool that we've built over at the Sharp app, the arbitrage betting tool, which is just a spectacular tool to help your sports betting game. I'm showing my picket on screen here, guys, and it's just green every single day. It's just nice betting when you're always winning.
Looks
and
like
I know
mine.
people, Taco, you know what's up. You've been arbing since we launched this tool. We launched it on Thursday the 13th. And for me, it's just been a green machine. The way this tool works is it's just looking for errors in pricing to exploit across various sports books. We have hundreds of sports books, and this is the fastest that screen odds to screen that can be. We're updating in real time. This is not the norm, but you can see here there's plays all the time popping up. I can have 1%er right here, Jackson Hayes. There's a new one that just popped up, 1.5%er. This is what's going on all throughout the day. You put in a couple, there's a big one, 5%er. Whoa, I got to get off the pod and hammer that one. If I wasn't on, I would be hammering it 5%.
Guaranteed to get at least $17 one way or the other. And I've been
making
doing the
money.
last 13 days, and I've profited 12 days because I made an oopsie once. But it's pretty fun. It's
What
pretty
I
fun
love-
just chasing it live. It's sort of like day trading, you know.
It is like day
the thrill
trading,
of the
except
hunt.
where you're always winning. And the real challenge really isn't, it's account health. It's not, can I make money betting on sports? It's, can I keep this going without getting limited too quickly? Because that's really the end result. What's going to happen? You're going to take so much money from the sports book. Eventually they're going to be like, guys, this guy's counting cards. Let's limit them. But if you have not checked out this, if you're a sports bettor at all, if you have a seasoned sports betting account, especially where you have a little bit of leeway, this will smooth out your returns. Done it for me. This is my history. And I don't always have green. Like I have a long history of ups and downs. And again, as soon as we started using this tool, all green. Guys, check it out. It's available at Sharp app. We have the Founders promotion continuing until we hit our first 100 subscribers. I think there's like 7 spots left. So if you sign up at Sharp with promo code Founders, you will lock in a $30 additional discount to the reduced price we have now. So you're gonna be at about $150 a month. You might think that's expensive for a subscription. It doesn't sound expensive to me when you're printing. I mean, look at me. I'm doing 200. I'm averaging about $150 a day in ARBs. We will teach you how to do it in the Sharp app Discord. There's ARB discussion going on nonstop. Check it out. Sharp.app. Promo code Founders gets you 10%, gets you $30 off. It does work in California. We have Russ Dees. I promise you, we've got Darth Pasta out of Texas doing this. We've got BMath out in California doing this. There are exchanges. There are sports books available in California, Texas, and everywhere. There is no place where you cannot do this. It's better if you're in Pennsylvania and you have 50 books. Sure.
Canada.
How big of a bankroll do you need for the ARBs to make sense? $1,000. But it's not a bankroll. This is just when you talk about ARBing, you look at this percentage and now just extrapolate it. If you did $1,000 of volume, you're going to make $25 that day. 2,000, you're going to make 50. And the volume is no problem to get on. You're going to see how quickly the volume explodes. Here at 10.5% plays, $1,000 worth of value. That's $35. Now you're like, I don't want to risk $1,000.
Against exchange. Hell yeah.
There's no risk here, guys. These are plays that when you put them in, you've already won. Like the excitement of the bet for me isn't when the game plays out. It's as soon as this pops up on screen and I click the buttons and it's still there. Of course, I recommend starting small. You start small, you kind of make your way in. But the big secret, Taco, it's not the unhidden secret is within a couple of weeks, maybe less, we are going to add live ARBs, meaning while the games are in action. So live ARB is where it's at because that you don't get limited doing. You can do that as long as you want. It's really cool. It's very lucrative and it's just not available anywhere else. So we're not really competing too much or in too many other spots. So we're not really competing too much with any other sort of software. What makes Sharp unique, aside from the price point that we have, is the speed and the update, the speed of odds coming out to your screen, which is super lightning fast. And that is a massive tech, let's call it load to be able to do that. So the faster it is, the better. And we are super fast. And you can see here, it changes on screen, which is a difficult technology that, again, most situations don't have. Look at this one. Again, if I'm not potting right now, I'm hammering 4.5%er, no problem. This is an exchange, no vig. This is FanDuel. FanDuel really isn't it's a super sharp book. So this is a spot where actually, I'll tell you another little thing I figured out. When it's something like this, sometimes I just hit the off ARB side and I don't even bother with the one that's correct and just take the value, especially on exchanges when they're there. So a lot of cool things you could do with your sports betting game. And anybody who's been betting for a while, if you're not doing this, you're out of your mind. Guys, I don't recommend things for no reason. We didn't build this for no reason. If you are a sports bettor, you should be doing this or at least adding it to your game to smooth out your returns. Make a couple $100 a day doing this. Do your normal betting. If you're plus EV, over time, you're just going to explode in how much you can make betting on sports. So this is really very much a side hustle that I highly recommend everybody check out. Sharp.app, promo code Founders, 8 spots left, guys. It might be gone, I hope, by the end of this podcast. And if you guys aren't doing it, I feel like you just hate money. But keep in mind, in Sharp, we will help you through it. In the Discord, you have a bunch of coaches in there that will teach this, explain how it works. I've done 5 live streams explaining exactly how to do ARBs. And I'm learning every day and learning more and more and sharing it with the community because I love this tool and I love people making money. Florida is fine. Hard Rock will limit you real quick.
Learn that
but again,
way.
you have all of the exchanges, you have Flip, you have all the sweepstakes. There are plenty of sports books to use. And if you're enterprising, gray-haired gaming, you are enterprising because, listen, if you're still gaming with the gray hair, That means you can figure stuff out. You get as many sportsbook outs as you can, including some that exist in Canada. There are lots of sportsbooks, guys, and tons of them that you can get on. And ProfitX is the king of exchanges. It is my favorite of all the sportsbooks. So chat. I'm going to try to say that. Chattahoochee Chief. That's what's up. Okay. See, we turned off monetization, but I still got a promo in because I feel like I'm helping everybody out with that. If you're not arbing, I don't know what you're doing. I do it all day. I love making money. Don't you guys? I like winning sports bets. It's fun.
Let me ask you, Geek, what percent gets you all fired up? Like, what's your threshold?
I almost get scared when I see an over 5%, or I almost don't take them. I go the opposite. If it's too high, I start to be like, eh. But I'll tell you, Brady, you know what fires me up? And I'll tell you for real this, because I have endless bankroll. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. God damn. No wonder he doesn't have ads turned on.
Keeping it real, I do have that. But what gets me excited is exchange versus exchange. If I can get a 1%er on Novig versus ProfitX, I will dump my entire bankroll into that 1%er. Fine by me. Because that's the safest. When you do exchange versus exchange, there's no, or like a FanDuel versus exchange, because FanDuel is a sharp book. They don't want to limit anybody. They feel they're the best at pricing things. And more power to them. They probably are. But exchange versus exchange excites me the most. I start shaking. Dude, I'm old as shit. If you're fast at doing, you would beat the hell out of me at this. I'm like, I can't see. I got to take my glasses off. I got to put a separate thing of glasses on when I have to use the phone. You know what I mean? Like an app. So many people would be better at this than I don't think I'm even good at it. And I'm easily printing $150 to $200 a day. Not good at this, Brady. And by the way, if I was willing to abuse my sports books, that number would be $700, $800, $900 a day easily. I'm
work on your mechanics, getting Novak's aim trainer or something, get faster clicks going.
Get your APM up.
I'm so old, guys. I'm like scrolling. I don't know what team. I'm like, I can't remember. I'm like, what team is Giovanni? Is this guy on? I'm like, I forget. I got to go look 100 times. If you're fast and by the way, one of the cool things about this tool is you can just click it. It will open it up. Like it opens up the book and the bet. I don't want to show my account here, but like it opens it all up right on screen. It's ready to go. So it's like one click. It really is designed, and it's designed by players for players. Like we're using it. So when we see something's missing or it's easier a certain way, we're adding it. A lot of cool stuff on the way. So this is a tool that everybody needs. Brady, got to get on this. Got to get on this thing.
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, man.
Taco's doing it, man. It's like a second income.
Indiana's awesome for it. We got all the books. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's a little more challenging in the other states. Anyway, all right, let's move on.
Let's talk Ty Gibbs.
Hey, it's my time of the show.
This is Brady's guy.
Brady, this one.
This is the Brady spot. We'll make a lineup. We'll make a lineup at the end here. We'll do a little kind of cash style lineup.
With Ty Gibbs in it.
If I remember, Ty Gibbs, Brady. Tell me why I need to play him again, as crap as he's been.
Well, you can go back and watch last week's stream, and I did a nice soliloquy on the 100 race theory, which Ty Gibbs is approaching. You hit your true potential in NASCAR when you reach 100 races towards the start of your third season, about your third season, end of your third season, into your fourth season. That's where Ty Gibbs is right now. And I think anyone that watches NASCAR and has for a long time can agree that Ty Gibbs is a generational talent. Ty Gibbs is going to win a lot of races.
Especially his grandfather. He thinks that.
Yeah, I mean, that helps a lot. If your grandfather, you can buy generational talent in this sport, and Joe Gibbs has. Ty Gibbs is good enough to be winning these races. And I don't know what the block is right now that he's been so terrible. Was a little better last week, as we thought he might be. Looked a little better in practice this week. Has had good runs at Darlington. Damn near won this race last year. Ty Gibbs is going to turn it around. And Ty Gibbs is going to start, like I said last week, I think by this time next year, Ty Gibbs is going to be $3,000 salary higher than he is right now. Tell Lance Stroll that. That's hilarious. But yeah, I just believe that Ty Gibbs is going to eventually be a dominator in this sport. And I've been backing him too long to back out now. So is this a good spot? Probably not. This isn't the best spot we've seen all year. Is he playable? Sure. Can you get a little bit of leverage on him? Sure. But I just think I'm very bullish on Ty Gibbs all together. And yeah, to his point, Darlington maybe not the place to get super excited about Ty Gibbs, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I'm going to be there.
You'll be ready for it. That's like, you can't get off the train once you got on. You got to just ride it, and eventually it's going to pay off. Killer Preece starting second, turning the career around. RFK, the team to beat. Not really, but are very good here at Darlington, right? I love Killer Preece. You guys know Killer Preece is my second favorite driver of all time, after Corey LaJoie.
Honestly, maybe among the top 5, if you were to like rank every driver by how many times they've appeared in the Nuts lineup over the course of the last 10 years, Preece would probably be in the top 5.
Yeah.
All those
Nuts
super
machine
speedways, short tracks
in DFS. Loves him. But now he's starting second, man. This is a tough trigger pull. He's starting right up there. He's cheap enough that if he just holds the position, he will actually be in the winning lineup once again. But this is not where traditionally it's been a good idea to play Preece from second. We want to play Killer Preece starting around 28th to 32nd. Second place seems a little crazy. Taco, what do you say?
So I think he has it in him at this point. He's jumped tremendously in the Vegas odds since opening. Like, my God. I mean, we saw Las Vegas and Homestead. Like, those runs are like legitimate. And he's even had pretty decent runs here. We've seen historically over the last few years that the few times he really, he's like popped up before at like short track, sure, but here in this RFK equipment, like he's kind of viable everywhere. If you play him, it opens up your salary for so many options. Like Larson becomes super easily affordable. You don't have to play like a Hamlin or a Byron. It makes it interesting. Now, do I think he can go out there and beat a Hamlin or a Byron regularly? No, probably not, but like 5% of the time, maybe he does that. And in that case, he becomes an absolute smash. Gotta have him play.
Basically, are we playing for him to somehow pass Byron early on and just grab the lead? Is that our narrative for how
7-2? You just need him to have a third straight top 10 at one of these tracks.
I don't know. I feel like if he's 8th place, he's not winning. You're not winning. He's got to finish third, top 3, top 4.
You figure he'll get some fast laps along the way here too. Like he was like 8th and 20 lap average from Group B. I mean, the car clearly has some speed in it. You saw it in Keselowski's too. I guess you're just playing that he has the upside to grab a few fast laps and maybe even lead a little bit, really just hang up front. The downside obviously is like tremendous. You can fall off a cliff. It's just if he does anything or leads any stretch of the race at 7-2, that just opens you up to do so much with your lineup. So he's just a really interesting GPP play, but you got to be careful of him.
This is a part of the. Did we talk about Eric Jones? Did I just skip him? No, we talked about him, right?
Yeah, we talked about him.
Yeah. So this is a part of the breakdown here where you really start to see massive gaps in win odds and all of that. And we're in the turd zone here. We are going to need some of these drivers. I was making lineups, trying to handcraft some lineups before. And yeah, if you're trying to get more than one stud in your lineup, you need all of the rest of your guys to kind of come from this lower, and especially some of the play stiff guys. You need these salary savers, at least one of them, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, depending on how low we can go. So this is going to be a really, really important part of this breakdown. And has, I would say, one of the better kind of win odds of the back turds, so to speak. He is at 76-1, so acceptable. Starting 26th. Not much ownership here. Any reason to get excited about Gregson?
No, not really. I mean, there's something there. He could run in the top 20, the top 15, fairly easy. This is a track that in the Xfinity series he was very, very good at because though Gregson not necessarily known for taking great care of his equipment, he is very good at running the boards. At least in the Xfinity car, hasn't translated to Cup quite yet, but there's some upside. It's not a fade by any means, but just kind of, you look at his track history. He has that 14th place run here last year. That's probably the upside, where the downside is kind of just running in the 20s.
None of that is good enough, guys. Too expensive for that. Host of our Taco, I'm going to go to you here. I'm just going to assume the answer is
unfriend you.
Any reason to play the hose?
This is like the track where having the best fast lap matters the least, and a lot of people are going to get baited into playing Hocevar because he had the best fast lap, but I don't give a shit. He's been fucking terrible at the intermediate track so far. He's too young, too aggressive to really be in play for me. So yeah, fuck this guy. Unfriend him.
I unfriend you.
Gone.
Yep.
AJ Allmendinger. Dingo. Brady, I got to go to you on this one.
Yeah, I love him, but yeah, Brady.
Right.
I'm with Brady.
Hold on. I sneak peeked. I sneak peeked a little bit. I cheated. I did spoiler this one for myself. Brady,
my favorite play on the slate.
Holy shit!
This is my favorite play on the slate.
Jesus
Christ! I don't know why people continue to disrespect AJ Allmendinger when look at his intermediate track finishes. Look at his track history at Darlington. AJ Allmendinger isn't some scrub. And colleague cars, they're not A-tier cars by any means, but they're not, they're not Ware. They're not Haas. They're decent enough cars that AJ, he's run top 10 at both correlated tracks here, and not by mistake. Drove up there and took it. Now, Homestead, I don't know what AJ Allmendinger does at Homestead, but he's just always good at Homestead. He's not always good at Vegas. And he ran top 10 there naturally, without weirdness. AJ's just fast this year, man. And I don't think anybody really recognizes it quite yet.
They still think he's a road course ringer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is an RCR car. They call it our RCR cars, for better or worse. So this is a slight step down from what AD and Kyle Busch have. But man, he's making the most of them. So you get another top 10 finish from AJ here, which would be standard when you look at track history, and standard when you look at intermediate track history, and standard when you look at his performance overall in 2025. He hits the optimal easy at 13%, 6,900. How do you not play him?
Loves it. I love the passion. I love the conviction.
I'm just tired of the AJ Allmendinger disrespect. What? Because what has AJ Allmendinger ever done wrong to get people not to play him?
I mean, he's a little aggressive. He does, he's crashed a little bit. He's a crash.
He's been good for 20 years. 20 years he's been good in everything. So I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm playing him.
This week it's gonna be just being priced next to Suarez starting 30th. It's gonna get people to play him. He's gonna suck up a lot of the ownership, and the people who play Dinger will be like, okay, cool, thank you.
But Suarez is another guy that I think is kind of in the Alex Bowman situation where it's like run good or not. And while I think Alex Bowman is doing a good job of dealing with that pressure, Daniel Suarez has been really hot and cold over the course of the last 18 months, really. So I can see why people are getting excited about Daniel Suarez, but I don't think this is as smash of a play as it appears on paper. He's been not great at Darlington his whole career and has been very hot and cold in general over the course of the last 18 months.
Yeah, Suarez either is awesome or he's not, but he was awesome Vegas a couple weeks ago, and he was looking pretty good last week. I don't know what happened. I don't recall. I don't think I watched the race last week. I don't know what happened at the end, but I do remember Suarez up doing well at times.
Last week was Martinsville. This was a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah, 2 weeks at Homestead,
Yeah, Suarez was the chalk and just sucked, and everyone hates him now.
Oh,
yeah. Jeremy makes a good point there too. Suarez, I think Wallace is the number 1 pit crew. I think Suarez is second.
Yeah,
I like Suarez here. I'm on it. Starting 30th, fine by me, especially not super high owned. I'm telling you, there's not that many plays here in the cheaper zone that we're going to feel comfortable about. So as you'll see, we go through the rest of these. Some of them feel a lot more sketchy. So, I mean, a couple of these guys, they're going to give you some salary savings. Yeah. Could Suarez be, instead of paying $8,300 for Bowman, you pay $6,800? Yeah. That kind of delivers the same potential end result there. So I think Suarez is legit. I love your passion for the Dinger.
Tired of this.
Let's see what else we could figure out here. I've got an unfriend you right off the top here in McDowell starting 10th. Guys, I don't even know. I mean, come on. Starting 10th, 100 to 1.
If
I don't it's nothing.
If Ryan Preece is in the top 5 for nuts appearances, McDowell might be in the bottom 5. He just qualifies too well every week.
Yeah, this is not a good spot for him. How about Stenhouse starting 28th. Not so great. You know, every once in a while, Stenhouse is like Suarez light, where every once in a while he just shows up. But how's he been at intermediate this year?
Meh. But I have a question for Brady real quick. Dinger plus 600 at top 10.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Listen, man, I don't like playing. The issue I have with playing props like that, like top 5, top 3, top 10, is like AJ Allmendinger is not trying to finish in the top 10.
He's trying to win the race.
He's trying to win the race. So you could be right, and he could run 8th all day and then do something at the end to try to win the race that costs him 12 positions, and it's like water off a duck's back for him, but it cost me $100. So that's the issue I have with those.
Doesn't you want to get those points though? Like a top 10 finish does have some NASCAR benefits.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. But I'm just saying, when you're betting, you want your goals aligned with the person you're betting on.
That's good.
And AJ's not looking at today and going, let's go finish in the top 10 by any means necessary.
I want them cheating, like tuning the car illegally, whatever you could do.
Well, Ryan Blaney's your guy this week, I think.
Yeah.
They can't stop blowing up. So
those guys need to figure out how to change out that head gasket to a higher quality material. It's not exploding off the damn engine every time. Ricky Stenhouse. All right. So we're getting we're diving in the turd zone here. Stenhouse starting 28th.
He's just mid. I mean, he's just like a 20th to 25th place fella.
Yeah, nothing there. Nothing there. Unfriend him.
Unfriend you.
Same odds as Austin Hill and Riley Herbst. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, well, let's talk about Austin Dillon here, starting 23rd. Anything stand out here for you guys?
No, fine sprinkle play, but kind of nondescript. Was not very good in the A session, which probably isn't a great sign for his speed overall. Has shown flashes of top 15 speed on 1.5 tracks over the past couple of years, but track history isn't super appealing, especially when you look at the next gen only. Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things you sprinkle in because
just a fortune.
I feel like it's tough here, guys. This is why I'm saying Dingo and Suarez are so prevalent, because as soon as you get past these guys, these plays just don't look that good.
Bro, you just got to play the other Dillon. What are we doing?
Wait, we didn't even get to him. Take it easy. You can jump ahead that far. Austin Dillon, so not so great. Yeah, Justin Haley, man, the guy, starting 21st. He's been really good, I guess, last couple of weeks. 10th and 14th. So he's good in these cars. Is Haley the guy? Spire car? I mean, I wish he was starting a little further back. 21st is sketchy.
Last 3 spring races here, 3rd, 8th, and 9th.
He's been good here.
I'm just saying. Top 15s at Homestead and Las Vegas.
At 6,200. Now, the odds makers don't love him in Taco. No. They have him pretty turdly at 200 to 1. And
his downfall.
Top 10 odds aren't the best at all. They're almost the worst. But I think the bet here is top 10 Justin Haley at 8 to 1. Why not? He's done it. He's been right. He's been on the cusp for those odds. Brady, any love for Haley?
It's fine. I still, there's still something about, I see the performance in Justin Haley for sure. But I don't know, man. Those Spire cars still kind of scare me, especially the 3rd Spire car behind McDowell and Hocevar.
He is getting ownership at 20% projected ownership. So I think that's the most of the rest of this turd zone. And literally after this, we get a whole bunch of unowned names. So rather than go through these unowned turd names one at a time, I can give you a little bit on. We all like Gilly, we all like Zane Smith, but they're starting 12th and 16th, which makes them almost unplayable. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm going to try to push through this as we've been. We're about an hour and a half in here, so almost unplayable at that starting point. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Zane was okay at Homestead, but no.
This guy I actually want to ask you
about.
Austin Hill making his appearance.
Dog shit.
Who is this guy? What is he doing? Is he any good? He's starting 37th. He's 5,900. I see some things I like his starting position and the RCR. Anything else to like here?
You like him being in the back of practice times in Group A?
No, I don't really care about it. All I care about, if he's starting 37th and he doesn't fall laps behind, even just a little carnage ahead of him will put him in an interesting spot.
He's fallen laps behind. Hate to break it to you.
Oh, he's terrible. I don't know anything about Austin.
He hasn't done anything in the Cup Series. Yeah, this third RCR car has never been good. And you can see it's clearly slow as fuck.
Austin Hill's good. He's a talented race car driver, but I don't know, to Katako's point, whether it's being the third car out of that shop or really maybe the fifth or sixth when you consider colleague as well. Or if Austin Hill just doesn't jive well with the next gen car. But anytime he's appeared in this, it's been straight to the back and laps down almost immediately. And then you look at his practice times in Group A. Oof.
No bueno.
Just a carnage play.
Yeah. All right. Rather than talk about every single one of these turds, sorry guys, but they are turds.
Oh, there's one turd that's not a turd there. Hold on.
Which is the non-turd? Yeah. Give me your favorite, Brady, of this group, and then we'll talk to Taco. Give me your favorite. But Brady, start with you. Yeah. None of them are getting any ownership, so they're all equally unowned.
Yeah. For finishing up on Austin Hill, he's an Xfinity guy. He's a stud in Xfinity, very good in those cars, but probably kind of grading out to be an Xfinity lifer. I think he's near 30 now. Probably just doing this for fun at this point.
He's over the hill,
so to speak. Yeah. The one that I think worth talking about, if we're going to get all fired up about AJ Allmendinger, I think we can get fired up a little bit about Ty Dillon too.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ty Dillon has run super, super well. Maybe doesn't have the finishes that he's deserved, but he's run pretty solidly inside the top 20 at both intermediates this year. I think people are down on Ty Dillon because he's not as good as his brother, and I think everybody kind of thought he was better than his brother. But Ty Dillon's still a very, very good race car driver, very, very experienced race car driver, and seems to be in the best situation of his career. So I think there's a guy at 5,000 salary that Geek, you know this, Matt. If he finishes top 21, he's pretty close to the nuts, especially when it allows you to get some of those big boys in.
The way the math works in DFS, every time, this is always true. When you play effectively, and let's call him the cheapest guy because Cody Ware and JJ Yelly are
playable.
Literally unplayable. So when you play the cheapest guy, they don't need to score that many points. Like there are times when like a 26 from the $5,300 guy is all that you needed because it opened up, all these different studs or all these other better drivers. Do I think Ty Dillon is good for more than about a 30 here? Probably not. Based on starting 29th, he'll what would you say his peak finish here would be? Like a 20?
He's never finished in the 30s here.
No, I'm saying what would you think, like
top 20 for sure. I mean, he could run
like 19th, 20th.
That's that's where I see him running. I mean, he could get up to top 15, but I think that would be an outlier run. I don't think him running 19th here is an outlier run. I think that's bog standard for him.
If you get to 19th, you're talking about what, like a 31, a 32, a score good enough for that price point that you allowed all these other people in and you get your 80s and your 90s out of the stud. So yeah, Ty Dillon you guys have been all over Dillon the last couple of weeks. And in fairness, Ty Dillon has been in like that nuts lineup until whatever, it seems like there's always something that goes on kind of at the end of the race that kind of in the last few that he's kind of slipped back from where he was looking pretty good. And then he kind of slid down a little bit. Like he was running top 20, I think both of the past couple of weeks, slid back towards the end, but
no, he crushed last week. He came 15th.
Did he? Oh wait, he finished in 15th?
Yeah.
Why is that not on your sheet, my man?
Because it was that short track. It's not totally relevant. I'm just saying over the last few weeks, he's been pretty nice.
Was he in the
nuts? He's ran significantly better.
Was he in the nuts?
We're used to him. Yeah.
He was last week.
Okay, so he got there. Let's see.
Yeah, it's just this entire range sucks. So you have to look at it relatively, right? It's like Ty Dillon. If there was if Eric Jones was like 5,900 or something this week, he would not be a very good play proportionally. But when everyone under 7K sucks, and you have like Justin Haley looking like the best play starting 21st, which isn't that crazy of a play proportionally, Ty Dillon looks like a solid play. SVG at for what it's worth, the best. This is where he's got his best intermediate track finish. All he's been fucking terrible at intermediate tracks. You have to look at it proportionally, and if you need to go this cheap, Ty Dillon's probably your best option here because he's just the cheapest of the viable plays.
let's put it
Kinda
this
what
way.
it comes down to.
If he doesn't need to you don't even need to worry about the score. What you need to worry about is that he outscores pretty much everybody in this group. If he could just score more than the rest of these guys, regardless of what that score ends up being, that is probably the nuts in a race environment where you needed one turd. So it doesn't really matter what he scores so much as he has to outscore all of these guys. And it doesn't seem like that's that big of a hurdle to outscore, even if you included Stenhouse in there, like, or McDowell in there too. Like, if could he outscore everybody that I've highlighted right here? All
Even
of them?
Suarez, because Suarez kind of sucks here. Like, there's not, until you get to like Dinger, there aren't too many really amazing plays.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like hard to beat.
Is this the cash play? Are you playing Ty Dillon in cash?
That's a tougher sell for me, but I still.
I don't know if it's needed. I mean, it might be just like play stiff cash day.
I think everyone goes what, Blaney, Larson, and then you probably do gotta go cheap after that.
I don't know if it's Blaney Larson in your cash.
Maybe it's just Larson, Bowman.
Larson's definitely in there. And then you might be going, like, if I was just doing a cash lineup,
be like what, Bowman, Jones, fucking
Keselowski's in there,
Bowman,
Bowman,
all those guys.
Maybe Chastain, even if I wanted to do more of a of sort of a leveled out version.
I'll play stiff at a carnage track. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Pretty much all play stiff. And yeah, if you want to get Byron in there or Blaney too, fine. But I'm not playing Blaney in cash at this point with his crash, he's crashing all the time. So I'm not super into that. Maybe play, I'm just putting up a cash lineup because we finished with our breakdown. Probably Suarez, and then I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to say that's a cash lineup, but
we don't give lineups out here.
No, we don't give lineups out here. But
buttons.
It might look something like this if I was trying to do something. I don't know.
Not enough Jones for me. All I'm gonna say.
You're that high on Jones?
Starting what, 34th? Yeah.
I feel like he's expensive.
In cash, though, I mean, fuck, he's starting 34th.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, if you wanted to make a cash lineup, I think looking for the green ownership percentage guys is probably a good way to start. So if you have, yeah, I mean, it's not that hard when you see some of these are in green. You probably want to play those guys in your cash lineup. All right, that's going to do it, guys. Darlington Goodyear 400 breakdown. It's time to get some lineups built. Make some. Let's take down some more tournaments. I want to see those DFS Army helmets at the top. Remember, guys, when you're rocking a DFS Army avatar on your account and you take down a tournament, you get a beautiful swag bag. You let us know. We send you that DFS Army swag. Get the shirt, the hat, sweatshirt, whatever we got going. Beautiful swag. You want that gear. So make sure to do that and let us know when you take down a tournament. You could be on the wall of winners like these guys. Wait, where was I? Give me my screen back. Like these guys. You get in the wall of champions. You want to be one of these people. Sign up at DFS Army. Win picks, Brady and Taco. Bettable spots.
You want the good one or you want the spicy one?
I want there's a good one and a spicy one. Explain.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take them both.
I can be talked into betting on Kyle Busch here.
KB.
Yeah, I think so.
16-1. Okay.
I haven't seen him fast in practice in years, and he was fast in practice, and he was fast here last year. He's priced down, like plus 1,600 isn't great. I wish we had him at a little longer than that, but I'll take a stab. Outside of that, Larson's probably just gonna win.
Like,
we'll talk all of this nonsense, and Larson will just lead 260 laps and win.
Fucking 5-1. I'm not betting no.
Yeah, it's not fun. Put a few bucks on Kyle Busch or Chase Briscoe even, and have some fun.
Season those accounts up with some NASCAR bets.
There you go.
That's right.
Get it ready.
Play some slots. Put some NASCAR bets.
We're like, oh, this guy does NASCAR bets. Okay, he's fine. Let's let him go for a few more weeks of arbing and taking our money. Taco, how about you? What's your win pick here? Who we betting?
Denny Hamlin's going to beat your favorite.
I like it, man. I was going to say Hamlin.
Yeah.
That was going to be my guy.
I don't think he dominates the race, but I think he wins at the end, just holding strong.
9-1 odds.
Just sounds like a Hamlin race to me.
One, I'll add a nice fun little bet if you like. I think there's a good chance that Byron doesn't lose the lead in the first stage. Byron win first stage was like plus 400. That's a decent bet, I think. I don't know how you would get around it.
Is there a pit between the? There should be a pit between the start and the end of the stage one, right? There'll be in the middle of that pit stop, right?
Yeah. What's the first stage, Taco? It's 80 laps. Is that right?
It's like 80 then 85, right?
Yeah, something like that. They'll probably pit for tires. It's 90, so yeah, they'll pit for tires halfway through. They'll pit for tires halfway through, no matter what. But still, Byron's got the best pit stall, good pit crew. Probably have a 2.5 second lead by that point if they do a green flag run. I think it's a fine play.
I like it. Little Willie B to win the first stage action. Taco likes Denny. I like Denny as well. Brady taking a long shot stab. I've got a feel for Kyle Busch. 10-1 odds. And then, of course, the chalk Larson probably going to win this win this one. Nathan Southard likes Chase Elliott, but man, he hasn't won. Can't remember the last time he's won anything.
Texas?
It's been a minute.
Last year. Yeah, he did run well yesterday, but big difference between the Xfinity series.
If you want to bet on something, you can bet on that a burrito is going to get destroyed right
in
here
about 5 minutes
in my house. Yeah, in a
I thought you were talking about the Xfinity race for a second with
not the burrito, a burrito. And of course, the other thing you could bet on is the ARB tool over at Sharp App. So a reminder to check that out. Promo code Founders for the last few spots. Lock button will smooth out your sports betting returns, take your gains to the next level, exploit market inefficiencies. It's a beautiful thing. It's a math equation, and makes it a lot more fun to bet on sports when you know you have a bunch of winners in there that are going to smooth out your returns every single day. So make sure to check that out. If you want to sign up at DFS Army, promo code TACO. TACO. 10% off any package that we have. VIP is the one you want. It covers all sports, NASCAR, everything that we do. MLB, you saw all the winners. You see all the NASCAR winners. You see all the NBA winners. You don't have to pay $400 a month for some site that promises fancy this or that. DFS Army members are taking down tournaments every single week. We do it old school here. We do it old school. Like that old school coach, like that old school pit guy, Brady.
Barker.
Yeah, Wrecker. Screaming at the
people
like the new guys. Like instead of finding like the best angles to put the tires on, and just start screaming at people like, "Do it faster!" Yeah, like I don't need no analytics about how quick it is to change a tire. I think screaming at people is better.
Just do it better.
Old school.
Good. We'll win.
We're old school here. All right, guys. Good luck today on the race. Helmets up. I'll see everybody. Me, Taco, Brady. We will see you all in the DFS Discord. Talking race, talking track, talking all that good stuff. Talking NCAA finals. What's up?
I think a 1 seed's going to.
You think a 1 seed's going to win it?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that finish? Oh, talk about a dagger to the heart. The Duke falling apart. What is it with college basketball players not being able to inbound?
Poor Duke.
Late.
Yeah.
Practice that shit. What is wrong with you guys? Practice it.
Nerves.
The Gators give me a panic every time in the last 2 minutes, too. They can't inbound. Come on, guys. Practice. All right. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you next time.